going to be exciting out there. As a reminder, in our women's race, we have Team US versus Team Europe. And it is going to be a barn burner out there. For all the fans watching, 6:30 is kind of that time that gets you in the top 10 all-time. Years and years ago when racing beer miles, there wasn't as big of a results system for it. But now it's been a good decade since we've brought these races to the forefront. So getting in the top 10 is a really hard task. So yeah, see how many women can break that 6:30 mark today.
It's a big challenge every time. It's oh boy, there's so many legends in this race right now. I mean, this group here is legends in their own right. Elizabeth Laseter right now chasing that 6-minute barrier. She was close last year, set a world record that was also dethroned again by Shelby Houlihan. But in terms of the official championship race, she's got the championship race record, trying to be the second female ever under 6 minutes. That is awesome.
Absolutely amazing. And for perspective for everyone out there, 6:03 is that official championship record here as we see her on the screen. She's got to be doing 90 seconds per beer and lap if you take the beer and the lap. So there's no messing around in the chug zone. There's no messing around the track here. These girls are here for business. Yeah, absolutely. And we always see something unique that happens in the women's race. So when we had the race in Leuven, Belgium, Elizabeth had that little misfortune of stepping over the line when she thought she'd finished the beer. There was a little bit of confusion about where she was going to drop her bucket. So that disqualified her from that championship, which led to Melanie Pozdol being the world championship that year. Not to take anything away from Melanie's time, that is one of the fastest chuggers in the group right there. I agree, and I think as more and more hopefully join us here on the live feed as we go, just a quick reminder of the rules. We are here for the beer mile, which is 4 laps of the track, 4 beers. You start with a beer in your hand, you drink it. You have to drink it in a 9-meter zone. As the camera will pan in a moment, you will see it lined in a white line. You must drink the beer in that zone, then start your lap. You'll see it right there in front of you. That is the chug zone, and that is the most important part of the entire race. It always typically comes down to the chug zone, and you'll see very many different techniques in the women's race here. There's many ways to get that beer down fast, and we're looking for a great race here today. Yeah, and like I said, it's a deep field. We have Allison Grace Morgan, former world record holder as well. We have Corinne Fitzgerald from USA, Claire Purcell, Cassandra Marin, who's been a regular fixture in these races as well. And then let's not count out Team Europe with Laura Ritchie's leading the way. She is like the spirit animal of the beer mile. Always entertaining to watch a race. She goes out flying fast, but has a habit of getting disqualified. And then we have Anna Camp and Frida from Team Sweden representing Team Europe. And it does not seem to matter how far behind Laura Ritchie's is after the first beer. 200 meters into the race, she'll be at the front. No doubt. No doubt. She takes it out hard, and we love it. Maybe today will be the day Laura hangs on and can win this damn thing. Yeah, might be. If she can just keep the beer down, not get herself on the overage, or the reversal of fortune. Yeah, it's 2 big threats for every beer miler, and you know what? As a reminder to everyone tuning in as well, it is a team competition, and it is cross-country style scoring. So your first 3 competitors across the line, lowest score wins. So we have 3 women from Team Europe in the field there, and then 6 from the US. So it will be a head-to-head competition here, and it'll be very interesting to see how it plans out. As we said before, you will see immediately upon the first beer many different chugging styles. There is our current world record holder being called to the line, our current meet record holder at 6:03. We'll see how these women do today. Once again, 6:30 gets you in that top 10 all time. I think a lot of these women will be pretty happy with that time. Yeah, this is a very seasoned field too. They've been in several world championships. I don't know if there's really a rookie in this group. No, yeah, I think they've all been around, unlike our men's race that we're going to have coming up. There are some rookies to the World Classic, which will be interesting. So you will see them all grab their beer here. They do have to grab their beer. Flying Monkeys, we should plug some of our sponsors here for sure, Travis. Yep. Both Athletic Brewing and Flying Monkeys are our lead sponsors here today. Appreciate them both supporting this event. You will see everyone drinking the Flying Monkeys beer there. That is regulated, 5%, the right beer size, and they must start behind that line. No beer can be opened until the gun goes, and all the beers on the table there are unopened, so every athlete must open their own beer. And I think we're under starters orders here, Travis. Yep, I think we will wait for the start of it. Super exciting, 10th annual here. And we got Corey Gallagher going through the rules here. Former world record holder himself, now has moved off the track and into officiating. Yes, and Corey will be strict with the rules out there. You were mentioning earlier we had a female a couple years back. You see the chug zone. You must finish your beer before you leave that chug zone and get rid of the beer. So unfortunately, she'd stepped across that line while still with the beer in her hand. That's an instant DQ. So let's hope none of our athletes here do that today. Pretty strict rules for a fun but very serious event here at the World Classic.
Yep, and we're off. All right, so we're 3, 4, 5. Watch Laura Ritchie's come straight out. Liz has a really odd kind of up, down, up, down. Melanie Pozdol, best chugger in the group. No surprise she's out first. Watch Laura Ritchie's as she will just rip the first 400 meters. It is absolute chaos when she starts out this race, but you can see this actually turning into a pretty good foot race here. But, you not to forget Allison or Liz. They'll slowly just start working their way back up the field, more methodical about their running approach.
And breaking down the beers, that was an 8-second beer by Melanie there. Really quick for our women's field here. As we said, 200 meters in, there's Laura Ritchie's at the front. She's flying out there. Definitely got some good foot speed in her, but we'll see how this goes. The women's race tends to string a little quicker, but then in the chug zone always come back together. So we're going to have to see some patience here as we go on there for two of our favorites for the race here today from the U.S.
Yeah, two of the favorites right there in second and third, but I'll give some credit. Melanie is looking really aggressive this year.
And they're flying. Like, they're coming in here. When they grab their beer, they're going to be under 80 seconds. Which is flying, which, as we said before, first lap, first beer is always going to be by far the fastest. But
well, under 80 seconds, that is right at world record pace. So
correct.
Let's see what they do.
And there we see Melanie going after it. If she can get it down in the women's field, if you can get the beer down in one go, it is a massive advantage. Most of the women cannot do that. And you'll see here again, Elizabeth with her unique style of drinking, but she's out the chug zone already.
Yeah, Elizabeth does the up, down, which is very unconventional, as well as Allison Grace Morgan. She'll do a little bit of a double pump, and she does the two-hander. She'll hold both hands up as she's doing hers.
Yep, and it looks like we got US 1, 2, 3 here early on. There's Laura Ritchie. Laura just struggles a little bit more in the chug zone, but we'll see with that run speed, her coming back into the field there. There's Laura at the front of our screen there. And we've got to change your leaders here, Travis.
Not a surprise right now. Probably our runaway favorite for this race today. Looking pretty smooth. So she's just a little bit under pace of what she needs to be after the first beer, but you can make her break with, the rest of it. So
100%. And we want to see her grabbing her beer at 250 is where she grabbed the beer last year. So looks like she's pretty much on that. We'll see how we do as we come into beer number 3 here. This is arguably the hardest part of the beer mile. Beer number 3, you got one more to come up. So
absolutely, it is a struggle getting that third beer down, because once you get the fourth beer, adrenaline starts to kick in. You're almost done. You just got to get it. So we're at 252, and where do we need to be?
Yeah, that's where we're at. So we want to see her leaving the zone here by 3:12. That would put her on pace. So she got a bit of time. She's using that unique technique as we talked about, kind of many different efforts at it. But if she gets out here by 3:12, that's kind of her looking to be on pace. So she's going to be just a little behind, but there's another lead change again, Travis.
Yeah, I told you, she is amazing out of the chug zone. I'll give Melanie full credit. That girl can chug with the best of them.
Yep. And as we say, a lead change, and here's another one coming up. Elizabeth coming back to the front. Melanie's helping push that pace for her, keep us on world record pace here, hopefully. So this is a great showing. Amazing to be here in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Got a great crowd out in the stands cheering on all the athletes in the chug zone.
Yeah, it was a great shot there of Cassandra and Claire in the chug zone as well. But look at the foot speed difference on that aerial shot that you had, where you just see Liz just pulling away. She is putting together a really, really good race. I think she might. There's Frida leaving the chug zone right there. I don't know. It's going to be close. We're going to be right on 6-minute pace if she can pick it up just a little bit.
Yeah, she's moving out there. She's giving herself a chance. It'll come down to what she's got in the last lap. And an interesting talking point for us, Travis, is some athletes can go out and do the beer mile and run pretty darn close to what they can run in a flat mile. Cora Bellamore, a few others, as well as Elizabeth here, where some athletes, it slows them down quite a bit slower than their mile time. So, you know what? The last lap of the beer mile can be really hard and slow, or some people can fly. Let's see what Elizabeth's got here.
We are in the chug zone. We need to be at 4:21 or 4:51
when she leaves. Yeah,
4:51 when she leaves.
and she was bang on 4:28 coming in, which is tying her time from last year.
If she can get this thing down.
Struggling.
She can get this thing down.
This is the hardest thing in the
world. A little
world.
bit slower than we saw last year with hers on her 4th beer, but she's way ahead of pace.
Melanie's on her shoulder, putting the pressure on.
Oh, yeah. This is.
She's going to leave first again. It's going to be another
all right,
exchange.
She's about 4 seconds behind where she needs to be for her record pace. But
what's she got in the legs?
I think she's got the.
She's going for it.
Drive in it. That is a burner of a time right out of there on that first 100 meters.
And let's say we got a close race here for third as well, I think.
Yeah. Would you say, though, that the first 100 meters of each lap is like your slowest part as you ramp in and out gas?
Yes, and for sure on the last lap, what I always tried to do was each 100 meters ramp it up a little bit because you don't want to take off sprinting and have a reversal on the back straight. So
absolutely.
You ramp it up a little more. When you can see the finish line, you can just put the full gas down because you know as long as you get across that line, you're good to go, Travis.
Yeah, she is pumping hard right now. We're at 5:36.
It's going
to be close. I'm thinking probably she's going to be right around 6:06 at this point, but who knows?
We'll see where she's at. She's on the final home straight now. We'll see if we can get the camera look at it. We're looking for a 6:03 here. She's just behind the officials there.
Question is, now it's going to be a race for third. Who's there?
And let's talk about
That's Corinne there, finishing up her last beer. So we have the last athlete out, and we are looking at just off her best, 6:06 right on the dot, like I called it. Yep.
And it looks like the U.S. is running away with the team title here. They've been running from the front the whole way, top 3 across the line. Should be important to note to all of our spectators as well that there is a measuring of the beers afterwards. So, you know, someone watching for the first time might think, how do you actually know they finished that beer?
Oh, that's an important point. We got Anna Camp finishing. Is that second or third? I can't tell.
I believe that is third. Because I think, third or fourth.
That's fourth.
Yep.
That's fourth right there. And Laura Ritchie's maybe not her favorite day out here, but
not far off, Travis.
Yeah, but it looks like she actually finished, meaning didn't have the reversal of fortune. We'll see what her measurements are. But that is an important part, is you have to have all 4 beers with no more than a combined 4 fluid ounces of overage for it to be official. You get that, you're fine. In this format here, if you happen to have a reversal of fortune, instead of the traditional penalty lap, right there she goes. Oh, it's coming up. But it's just a 2-minute penalty because with FAT, it's impossible for them to keep track of it.
Correct. And in the standard beer mile rules for everyone listening, if you typically have a reversal of fortune, the beer comes back up. You got to run an extra lap at the end. For the simplicity of today, an extra 2 minutes. But for everyone at home, if they're drinking a beer watching this right now, an ounce, you might think, what does that mean? If you got a bottle of beer in front of you, put your finger up next to the bottom of the bottle. That's about an ounce. So they drink the beer. There's a lot of foam involved and other things. So we give them 1 ounce each.
Got a little race in the caboose between Frida
right now, it's
and
happening on the home straight. If we get the camera angle, it's a sprint finish.
Right, exactly. And
looks like Frida's there.
Oh,
here we go. And Corinne coming back. Corinne did it.
So it's Corinne just kicking it in. Saw her actually run a really, really good race at the U.S. Championships that we had before Leuven. That was kind of her first big foray into this event. We had a small U.S. Championships. Was a lot of fun. But there you see the results. We got Elizabeth Laseter in first, Melanie Pozdol in second, former champion, and then former world record holder Allison Grace Morgan there in third. It's
a U.S. 1-2-3 sweep.
Yeah, it's. I think we can score that one. It's probably fair to assume that even if there's a potential disqualification in there, there's enough to score it. And it's just love the thumbs up by Claire there.
Carnage on the finish line, as there usually is. Allie Morgan here. And, yeah, as we said, 4 ounces allowed. And if it comes down to it where you have more than 4 ounces, unfortunately, depending on the race, either disqualification or an extra 2 minutes added as well, I believe. So 2 minutes takes you out the race. If you get 2 minutes added to your time, you're pretty much the caboose in the results.
We're going to see some highlights from the race here as we saw with that odd little like up, down that Liz does.
That's led to 2 championships in a row, though, for her, so it's working.
Yeah, it's working. It's working. And Melanie, just a consummate chugger right there. It is impressive how fast she can put that thing down.
And want to kind of give big round of applause there. Big congratulations to Melanie as well. She put the pedal to the metal. She was on her shoulder the whole way. If Elizabeth even had a small falter, she was going to be there to take the championship, so good effort from her as well.
Well, we still have to wait on official measurements, too, so nothing is official yet. These are unofficial results that we're seeing. I think it's fair to say we can probably park the U.S. as the women's champion this year, so they will be taking home the Queen's Cup. Yeah, and look at how fast she just like swipes that thing off. That's a person who knows her sport, who knows her craft. She just grabs it really quick, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then watch Melanie just, it's gone. You
Yeah.
might notice, though, on the track, just for those at home, this is the first race on this resurfaced track. It was resurfaced on Monday. That's why we only have the chug zone lines. There's no track lines. Those are going to come later in the week. So it's not a funny business track. This is a completely measured, legit, ratified track that's the University of Windsor runs on. So what a great what a great afternoon.
And what do you think, Travis? When someone approved a budget to resurface this track, do you think that person thought that the first race held, the first people running on the track would be a beer mile?
I don't know if they knew that was going to be something that was going to be coming, but you can call it a christening of sorts. Some people do it with a bottle of champagne, they break it on. Nope, it's going to be someone's chunder right there on that surface.
And you can see Elizabeth here again, just committed to it. She just knows her practice. She would have practiced not dozens of times, hundreds of times doing this. And you know what? Whatever technique works for you, works for you. And one of these days, we're going to have a female come along who can drink them all in one go and run pretty darn fast. And you know what? There's a lot of room there on that world record, that's for sure.
Yeah. In terms of this one or the actual official, known world record that Shelby ran last year, that 5:42. But these are still just smoking times. Not quite Elizabeth's time that she had last year, but still right
Very
on par.
close.
She's super consistent. I really think that, potentially next year, I really believe she's got a 550 in her.
I think all it comes down to, and maybe we'll talk to her later on. We'll see when she's got us up here. We'll ask her a little more about her technique, but seems like she takes 5-6 efforts at each beer. If she can get that down to 2 to 3, it's 15 seconds right there.
She definitely has the motor to do it. That leg speed is fantastic, and her strength is unreal. It is so hard to do this.
Yeah. All right, we're going to have a few clips here of what we refer to in the beer mile as reversals of fortune. When the beer decides that it's not going to stay down, it is going to come back up. And you can see those buckets there. We're doing our best for the University of Windsor here on their new track. We've given dedicated buckets for athletes who, need to get some of that beer back up, Travis. It doesn't feel great. A lot of athletes, I'm sure, would agree that they run a flat-out mile and they might want to throw up after. Imagine a flat-out mile with, a couple liters of beer in your stomach.
Yeah. And, you just can't say enough about this field. It was a pretty deep field. I think the last place was under 8 minutes. So I think it was around 7:30 something. So that's not a big spread.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that'll be us wrapping up most of our women's field with the men's coming up shortly. We'll see if we get Elizabeth up here for an interview, whether or not. But that's it for the women's. And in a few minutes here, everyone stay tuned. Don't leave your seats. We're coming up with the men's race shortly.